Next up in the phase in Chapter 8, talking about primary skills. In this video, we'll be covering super abilities, so things like flight, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, and telepathy. However, the first thing to point out here when it comes to any of these super abilities is it's important to remember that only a practitioner's apprehension places limits on what may be done in the phase. What can also be beneficial here too is consuming media where they're doing things like this, because that can give you a good blueprint on how to actually get them done. It can set some expectations in your mind that you actually will be successful with it. So anyway, first up for flight, and his first recommendation here is an interesting one that's never crossed my mind before when it comes to trying to fly in my dreams. Granted, flying comes very naturally to me. I mean, I'm flying in a ton of my dreams. I mean, close to nightly I'm doing it, you know, and lots of those are not even lucid. Like my non-lucid dreams, I'm flying in those things all the time. But his first recommendation is to attempt flying with eyes closed because it produces a high success rate, which is interesting to me, and I could see how that could kind of work, but there are a few potential downsides to it as well, where first of all, if you close your eyes, it can cause the dream to end and cause you to wake up. So if you are going to close your eyes, I would say just do it, very momentarily. Then once you feel the physical sensations of starting to fly, quickly open your eyes. Plus, it could cause you to like teleport or change dream environments too, when when you're not really wanting to. So, something to be aware of. Of course, you could try jumping off of something from a very high elevation. However, he points out in here how that should be something that should only be advisable for more experienced practitioners, because someone might think they're dreaming, but in fact be awake, go up to a window, jump out that thing, and they're dead. So of course you could do like a reality check or something before actually going ahead and trying to fly. But as you get more of these lucid dreams under your belt, really for the most part, once I get lucid, it's pretty easy to tell if I am indeed dreaming or awake, like whether I do a reality check or not. You could also try, just doing like a little jump, whether you're on top of something high or not, just to kind of get the initial movement going. You could run and take leaps and bounds, getting higher and higher and higher. And in fact, like one of the years ago, I was really trying to like get out of Earth's atmosphere and enter into space, but I kept having problems. Like I'd fly up way above the clouds, but I would just not really get any higher from that point on. So the way I got past that, and this is actually going to be we're talking about like transmutation into animals next, but to get past this, what I did is I pretended like I was the Hulk and started like I was gonna do this super jump, and I kind of felt the power of the Hulk coming into me, and then I just super jumped my ass up into space. So that can be beneficial. And then he points out how flying can actually be used to like solidify the dream or the phase and make it more stable. And to do that, you'd want to fly very energetically and aggressively, making sharp turns and things like that, flying like really close by objects, which is one of my favorite things to do. I'll typically like squirrel suit style and just kind of like zigzag in and out between trees and rock cliffs and stuff like that. So that can work well. He also points out as you're flying, you can keep up like these vibrations. Nothing I've tried personally, but that sounds like it should work. And then as you're flying too, you could also be like rubbing your hands together and doing that type of dream stabilization technique as you're doing it to help re-solidify things and make it feel even better. Because what can happen sometimes too is as I'm flying, I'll take on like a video game like sense and feel of the dream, which is cool and all, because video games actually can help you have more lucid dreams, just in the fact you're getting used to controlling these 3D environments, and there's some transfer over there into your lucid dreams as well. But then once it takes on this video game like perspective for me, a lot of the awesome physical sensations that I'm feeling before I took on that video game feel, when that comes on, the physical sensations tend to drop off. So it's kind of like a plus and minus to it. Then when it comes to telekinesis or moving things with your minds, that has come kind of naturally to me as well. But I think a lot of that was based on, again, like the type of media I was, consuming. So whether that be like moving stuff with the Force from Star Wars, or I was a big like comic book X-Men guy. So, moving things with my minds like that could work. But really, it comes down to like the same way where you might have been like a kid, or, maybe just try this right now. If you're going to try and like move this cup with the Force or something like that, same thing. Do that within a dream, has a pretty high success rate. Pyrokinesis, nothing I've tried before, but basically just stare at an object with a strong desire to heat it up or set it on fire and start to make the thing smoke or something like that. That sounds kind of interesting. And then for telepathy, he actually points out how this can be something even experienced practitioners encounter difficulty with telepathy. But for me, this has kind of come naturally as well. Now, I don't do it too often on purpose. But a lot of times when you're just starting to interact with dream characters, especially when you're lucid, you can kind of get a sense and feel on how they're going to react and say. And then what you can also notice is as you do that more often, you know, what you kind of get the sense and feel and expect them to say, you know, you put that expectation in there, it's going to really raise the chances of them actually responding like that. But same thing with this too as well. I would say just the same way you would see like Professor X do it in X-Men, you try to do that same thing there where you're going to read their mind, and that can really help raise the chances of you being successful there. So with that said, that'll wrap it up, and until the next video, keep your phase practice legit.